What's up, guys? Paul Wolff here. We're back from the big house, Crandon. Had a really good weekend. Had some ups, some downs. We'll just start right into it in the Ultra 4 side, the 4400. We come out the first day or afternoon for qualifying, and I ended up breaking a rim and a tire and pretty much didn't do good qualifying. Ended up at the very back, had to start last. So we come out to Saturday's race, which was just a heat race to get the starting order for the main. And I told myself I just needed to get to the top 5. That way I'm kind of in the front row of the grid for the land rush start. And so that was my only plan, was get the top 5 and just run there. So we showed up, ran, and I ended up getting all the way to the top 3 in the first lap. And I couldn't help myself, and I was like, man, number 1 sounds better than number 3. So I started driving a little too aggressively, killed another tire. This time we did have a spare in the pit. We ran back around, got to the pit, and by the time we got to the pit, it actually disintegrated the tire, and the cords were wrapped around the brake rotor, broke a brake rotor, ripped a caliper off the car, had just a lot of, I guess, damage back there, I guess is the best way to call it. And so the guys took them a while, but they ended up getting everything off the car, got me a spare tire on, crimped the brake line off with a pair of vice grips, went back out on the track, ended up coming in, I think, 8th place, 7th place, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in there. Regardless, it was good enough to get us on the front row of the grid, which is our big goal. So finished that up, and then we ended up going into Sunday's race, which was the Cup race and the Ultra 4 race, all tied into one. Car was working really good. We did some shock adjustments last minute, which I wanted to do. My buddy Wayne couldn't make it out there from Alltech. He had some family issues back home or something going on, so he couldn't make it up there. So we ended up doing them all ourselves in the trailer. Did the shock adjustments, had him on the phone helping me. Made an awesome shock adjustment. Wish we would have did it right out of the gate. I mean, it was phenomenal. It changed the car to exactly what I wanted. And what I was trying to accomplish early on. So really happy with that change in the shocks. We started the race, come off the starting line, grabbed second. We're rolling. We're actually out on Vaughn a little bit, and probably even with Lauren, maybe out on him just a touch. And I went to go to the 2-3 shift, and something happened. The tranny just missed the gear, or something went on and missed. And it just went straight to the rev limiter. I pedaled it, shoved it again, made sure it went in gear, and took off again, and it held 3rd after that, and we ended up coming out in 3rd place. Again, not for sure what happened there with the transmission. We've had great luck with trannies in the last 3 years, so to have one mess up it's ran hammers, it ran every race this year. So maybe we just pushed it past its due date of being rebuilt. But anyways, we're running around, and immediately we get into the situation of the Fun Haver guys are team racing. Vaughn blocking for Lauren, and he keeps brake checking me in the rocks. And so after 1 or 2 times of that, I finally was like, F it, I'm just gonna hit him. And so I started beating on the back of his car. You can tell I damaged the front bumper of my car, but it was just the point of quit brake checking me in the rocks, man, unless we're here to race. And so I finally was able to put a big distance between us, because what he would do is every time I'd come in and I'd go to make a run on him, he'd brake check me, and I'd lose the run. And then finally I put a big gap between us and let him think he was kind of safe. And then I put a run together and went down the left side of him, which is super smooth. The car took it phenomenal. Still, even it was out of the main race line too. And so I was really impressed with how well the car handled it. Got around him. As soon as I got around him, we were able to pull away. And we had so much spray from being behind him for so long. It obviously, you can see in here, it covered the radiator of the car. So the car is running hot. Tranny at this point is about 280 in the car. It's running 270, 280. So I'm watching tranny temps, watching motor temps. Motor's about 230 in the car. So we're still in the green area. We still go. Every once in a while, I'd climb up above 230, and I had to start backing off a little bit. We're finally able to put together a good run on Lauren and ran him down into Cowboy turn, rotated the car down low in Cowboy, and was going to drive up under him. And when I went down to second gear to get the tires spinning, it actually it kind of did a deal where it took it initially, it powered into it, and I could feel the car grab real hard, powered through the first set of ruts, and then the second set of ruts, the motor just almost free revved in the car. It just wide open, so I shoved it back up in third and come out behind Lauren. I looked down, the tranny went from 280 to 310. And so I knew immediately that the tranny was about done. And so after that, I just kind of mitigated the transmission the best I could and just fell in behind Lauren and just made sure Vaughn never made a run on me. And we just kind of finished the race in that manner. I do think I had enough to run down Lauren. Definitely in the rocks, I could catch him. I could make a big run in the rocks on him. And so I think if we had the transmission to hold up the rest of the track, we probably could have made a run on him. I'm sure he had a little bit more under the hood. He has a big motor in that thing. It's hard to run him down in the straightaways, especially doing cowboy turn with them long straights coming in and out. He can really put a gap on me when he gets into power. So it is what it is, though, man. We had an awesome run. Really happy with where we ended up with the 44. This thing's phenomenal, man. It's the only car out there that races everything, that's running up there at the front. Them guys are building specialty built cars. We're racing the same car every race, King of the Hammers, all the races, everything. This is how this car's set up every single race. So I think it's a pretty good testament to Joe Thompson and the UFO car. And of course, all the parts and products. We run them every race, everywhere we go. So this thing's a tough piece. Really happy with where we ended up. We'll be back next year, man. I got some tricks up my sleeve for next year, some things that we learned this year. And we did a lot of testing while we were up there with the tires and the rims and the shock combinations and air pressures and a lot of stuff. We learned a lot. So next year, I think we're going to have something for them. Real quick, before I get out of here, I got to give a shout out to Nitto Tire, Raceline Wheels, and RCV Axles, Radflow Shocks, Wayne he is All Tech Motorsports, but he helps me tune the shocks. Of course, Project X does a phenomenal job on this thing too. And then we got Wheelwood. The brakes on the car are phenomenal. You'll hear me complain about the brakes no more in the car. It's because they're working phenomenal. They're awesome. Got to give a shout out to Jim at ATO, transmission guy. He builds a phenomenal piece. I think we just outran. We should have got it rebuilt halfway through the season, and we pushed it a little too far. Of course, Steve Morgan, man, Street Scene Performance out of Arkansas. He builds an awesome motor. This thing, it takes a beating. And it's a great piece. We run the same motor everywhere we go. We don't change motors for short course or for long tracks. We run the same motor everywhere. And that's a huge statement. A lot of guys put in specialty motors for short course or specialty motors for endurance. We run the same piece, same motor everywhere we go. He builds a phenomenal motor. Really, really happy with it. And then, of course, we got to give a shout out to VP Race Fuels. They've been phenomenal with all the oils in the car. They do a great job with their lubricant side. And of course, everybody knows their fuel's phenomenal, man. That's why I think like 90% of the racers run their fuel. It's just great fuel. You get quality fuel every time, but their lubricants have been phenomenal in this car. Motor oil and stuff for it to be running, 230, 235 all day and the oil not break down and give up on us. That's a huge testament to how good that oil actually is. And of course, we run their oil in the transfer cases, their gear oils, even run their brake fluid. We run their stuff a little bit everywhere. So huge shout out to the lubricant side of VP. And then we got Rugged Radios, Doug with Rugged, and they come to our pit and help me tune the radios because for some reason, I think it's Chris Hickman actually now we found out. He gets up there and pokes buttons on the radio in a hurry and messes our radios up all the time. So they came and actually locked our radios down to where Chris can't mess them up no more. So everybody thought it was me turning them off, and it's really Chris. So huge shout out to Doug. Thank you. And then we got FK rod ends. The rod ends on this car, they take a thrashing. I mean, everybody sees the car in the rocks, makes a big deal about how hard I hit the rocks in the car. The car takes it. That's why I do it. If the car wouldn't take it, I wouldn't do it. But clearly it takes it. The rod ends take it. So, man, huge shout out to FK. They're really great people to work with. Really happy to work with them, and they do a phenomenal job with the rod ends. And of course, last but very not least, when I come around here, Tube Works, the third member in this car. We're running a 40-inch tire. We're about 850 horse at the crank, maybe 900. And I don't cut it no slack. I mean, we were doing some wide open landings and stuff, trying to run down that Ford car, and this Zip takes it, man. It's a phenomenal piece. Huge shout out to Jason at TubeWorks. He was out there at the track this weekend. Love his product, man. That thing takes a beating, and it's still in the car, still held up. All we did was open the cap, check the oil, make sure there's oil still in it this weekend, threw the cap back on it, and sent it out for another round. So awesome piece. Thank you, Jason. The bad part is not recording.
Look at your beep here. Get something?
Where?
The little orange thing.
Oh, yeah. They might need that.
Whose job was that?
This is Crick Hickman's job. I think he put him on his credit card, so cool. I guess I just bought a racing tracks tracker. Is there two? No, they cut that one off. Somebody did. Nope, no, it's still down there. Well, that one didn't work half the weekend, I was told. So I guess I'll keep it and throw it in the scrap pile. We need to get like something on here.
Yeah, I'll get you like we'll make it like now that we have two of those.
We need something broken. But yeah, they told me that tracker didn't work worth the crap. I guess it was intermittent. So I'll just throw it away. You guys don't have to worry about it. Don't bill me for that one. This one, it's not flashing green, so it's probably bad too. I'll throw it away. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of them. You guys buy new ones? No problem. We'll send your trackers back to you. Please don't bill me like $900 like you normally do. I think that's it. You want to go on a rant about trackers? Because I can do that too.
No, we'll save that. We still got
okay.
left. We don't want to get like an extra bill.
That's probably true. Got a lot of dirt in the seat. Get the fire extinguisher bulge. It's kind of wild looking, isn't it? Like even how this is like stripped. I really don't know what happened here. I ain't figured this out.
Who'd you get into there?
I don't know.
You're supposed to scan it, damn it.
Well, you can't scan it no more. I don't know what happened. You think it was a rock or do you think it was a car? Oh, look at this. Yeah, that's why the radiator is running hot. You got tear-offs everywhere. Oh, we did go through 20 tear-offs in 2 laps. So at the end of the race, I was wiping my helmet like this. I was using my windshield wiper as I was driving.
One muncher, where you at? We're happy to take a sponsorship.
Yes, yeah. We need that little roll through one. The motor looks filthy because I'm sure the vent for the transmission was venting its ass off. Pardon my language. Because of how hard and how hot the transmission got. I think we're in good shape with the car. It's mint. I think it's ready to go race Davis. Might clean it, might not. Never know. We don't need that gear that slipped. We'll just run the other ones.
Exactly.
That's why they put 4 gears in there. And look, see, this is actually why Lauren beat me right here. You got this recording still? Oh, we got this. You got to come back here. I got a whole thing here. I know what happened now. I found the problem. So if you come over here and look at this tire, see, I ran a vent line. I'd put crappy zip ties on it, the cheapest ones I could find, and they'd break, and then the line would just flop back there somewhere out of the way. No, people would worry about it, but it wouldn't hurt nothing. So you got these fancy mechanics that put high dollar zip ties on here. And then the vent line ends up going to your brake rotor. And so as you're racing, they oiled my brake rotor down. And I couldn't stop or slow down. So either that contributed to me getting second place or it contributed to me not getting first, depending on how you look at it. So either I went faster because I didn't have brakes, or I went slower because I didn't have brakes, depending on which side of the spectrum you're on. But yeah, that's why I actually seen Chris Hickman doing this. I think he sabotaged me.
Well, technically, you told all of them on Saturday you don't need rear brakes. So what's your excuse now?
You got to have rear brakes, Dylan. You don't tell people my secrets. Shh. You need this one. Because see, we're doing left turns. You got to have the right rear brake. You don't want the left rear brake. The left rear is pointless. It's in the air if you're doing it correctly. You got to have right rear brake, you know. Except for when you go to right turns. Then I actually think I was so slow in the right turn because I didn't have a left rear brake. That's probably what it was. I'm confused now. Exactly. Which brake worked, which one didn't? I think I sit here and see passenger driver.
That one.
You see, I don't know because depending on how Chris is looking at me, he tells me right or left. Sometimes it's his left, sometimes it's my left. I just try to figure it out as I'm driving. It adds an extra game. It's like the the fighter jet pilots have to like answer weird questions while they're in a gyrosphere. That's kind of what this is. You're driving, dodging mud clogs, dirt clogs trying to hit you in the face, rocks, and then Chris is giving you random directions, left, right. You don't know which left, his left, your left. You got to think, am I coming at him? Am I going with him, going away? It's kind of like RC car racing. Left's not always left.
Yeah, that'll do it.